Hello everyone and welcome to Visual Radio. I'm here with Stacy Bell today with this big book, The Prescription for Nutritional Healing. This is the 5th edition. Hello, Stacy.
Hello.
Welcome to Visual Radio.
Thank you, Joe.
See, it's radio for your TV.
I get it.
You can turn the visual off and you'll still hear a good show. And I'm fascinated with this book. This book is huge. I'd like to talk a little bit first about the original author, Phyllis A. Balch.
Balch.
Balch,
Yes,
I'm
Phyllis
sorry.
Balch.
And you even schooled me on that before the show began. Balch. Who was she?
She was a pioneer in nutritional healing. She believed in it. She ate, slept, thought about it all the time. She counseled millions of patients. She had her own store of supplements where people would come and visit for private counseling. She would do it on the phone. Everybody knew her. At all the meetings that I attend, everybody knows her. Unfortunately, she passed away a couple of years ago in the middle of editing this 5th edition. And hence, that's where I came in. But she got it. And one of the reasons I took on the job was that she and I were on the same wavelength in terms of natural medicine versus conventional medicine. We don't diss conventional medicine at all. People get a disease, there's treatment methods that have shown to work, but what bothered us both was that there's never an opportunity to learn about what are the alternative therapies, what can we work with that are natural products that we take along with our medicines. She identified that for about 200 diseases in this book and had conventional medicines and then listed alternative things that you could try at the same time. So now instead of saying alternative medicine, we call it complementary medicine, that the food and the nutrients, the little pills of supplements that you take, goes with your regular medicine. And that's a big thought, and it's here for the 21st century.
Interesting. With 883 pages for the 5th edition, when an author gets a 1st edition out, they've done their work. They've got the message out to the world. The 2nd, 3rd, 4th is kind of adding more information and updating?
Updating is the key. I mean, you may think it's a slam dunk. You may think, oh, what did Dr. Bell do on this? I did a lot.
Oh, I can imagine.
When I first took the job, I said, oh, how much could possibly be there? It turns out disease treatments change so rapidly, medications change, and the supplements have a lot of clinical support now that they didn't have when she wrote the 1st edition. I added a lot of that stuff. So now when we say, take St. John's wort if you feel a little depressed, there's studies to support that statement where 10 years ago those didn't exist. So all that stuff had to be updated. So that, in case in point, think of people with AIDS. When I did my doctoral work, patients died with AIDS. This was in the early 90s. They didn't have the right medicines, and the patients mainly died of an infection, and they were very, very skinny. Fast forward 20 years. Today we have people that take a cocktail of pills 3 or 4 times a day. They can be expected to live a full life. They're no longer skinny. They've got rid of most of the virus and all the side effects. And in fact, they can live long, healthy, productive lives just as if nothing had bothered them now with the new medication. So to think in that short of time, something changed that drastically. It happened for many other diseases. Diabetes and heart disease are big categories in here, as well as mental illness, all those things change. They get new treatments, new ways, new approaches, and new supplements and foods that may help them.
Some people are afraid of different things, putting things into their body. St. John's wort, what exactly is that?
It's a little plant. It's an herb. So out of the box, people say, I get it. It's a plant. It's natural. It's for depression. I'm going to take gobs of it, and I'm going to be not depressed. It just doesn't work that way.
Gobs of it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a problem with natural products. People think whatever it is that it's being treated for, they're special, they're different, they're bigger, whatever, so they're going to take more of it, and they think it's going to work faster. These nutritional prescriptions for natural products are like drugs. If your doctor gave you penicillin because you had an infection, you wouldn't take twice as much. You'd follow the protocol to kill the bug at the right time. Same thing happens. So St. John's wort is a good one. We can start with that, but it It has been shown in clinical studies that are well designed, published in medical journals that doctors read, that it in fact helps with mild depression. If you have major league depression, you're thinking of killing yourself, you do not need St. John's wort. You need to get medical attention. And that was the other thing that Miss Balch and I were pretty in sync with, that, come on, if it's a big league thing and supplements don't work, we're going to tell you, rather than lead you on, because that's just not helpful for anyone getting better. But the St. John's wort has been shown in mild depression to help you feel a little better. And what's wrong with that if you can take a little pill, but doubling the dose is not good for you. And also, the other point about St. John's wort, because it's a good example, is that certain medications interfere with the action of St. John's wort, and the St. John's wort interferes with the actions of the medicine.
I wouldn't even think of that.
It's a big deal, and you need this thing, because I'm too old to remember to tell you what the medicines are, but I know they're in here. And one of the things is, so you don't want to go willy-nilly into a little health food store and say, I'm feeling depressed, or I'm feeling this, I want some supplements, my knee hurts, or whatever. You really want to do your homework, think about it, read in here to see what medicines there are, and then it tells you if you're on any of these other medications from your doctor, you don't want to take X, Y, and Z. So if you're going to take care of your health, you got to step up to the plate and take a responsibility. You can't go with an hourly employee that's a little kid that doesn't know anything about nutrition and buy herbs and other supplements and expect to get better. It's not that easy.
And I think there's a general perception out there, at least I had this perception, that you could go into a health store, buy a bunch of different things, and then take your medicine at the same time, and not worry about the two counteracting each other.
You absolutely have to worry. The second thing is, since you're taking responsibility and empowering yourself to get better faster and get better naturally, it's imperative you tell your doctor what you're taking, because you may have missed it, I may have missed it in the edits in the book. You have to let your doctor know what you're on. And every survey that's done in natural medicine, people don't tell their doctor. And they don't tell their doctor because they don't want to be bullied, they don't want to be told they're stupid, they don't want to be told that these things don't work. If you get that feedback from your doctor, it's time to get another doctor. No one should be talked to like that. And second of all, it's wrong. A lot of these things have been studied, well-researched, and they go together, but you certainly don't want to wreak havoc. You want your proper medicines working, and you want your natural healing medicines working too.
Did you meet Miss Balch ever?
No, I have not met her. I wish I could have,
But you knew of her.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're rather intimate, since I've
Oh,
read every word
absolutely.
in this 800-page book and talked to people that knew her and stuff. I mean, people's face light up. It was stunning when I was at a show about a year ago in Las Vegas. We have a natural products show every year. It's coming up next month. And I went to one of the booths where I saw this book advertised, and the person's face lit up. She was a true goddess to the industry, and someone that I'm so happy to be a part of this, and really feel honored to even been approached to help out on this book.
That's a really good point. If you read a book that you really love, I don't care if it's Rosemary's Baby or Gore Vidal, but you're taking a part of the author into your life. It's almost like osmosis, imprinting on your soul
Right.
their thought patterns.
Right.
In a way.
Yeah, and that's what's magical about the written word. I mean, this interview can go on and off, but when you read
Right.
when you read some people write very carefully, and she wrote very carefully and very precisely. And what always stunned me, when I would be looking for something on the internet, I was trying to update a phrase that she had, and I'd type it in on Google, she would be the first hit to come up. So many people have referenced what she's done. I was spinning my tales. At some point I had to get out of the loop and update the material, but I was just so impressed how many people had quoted her on their websites, and Google search had found her in so many times looking for things. So that's a good I mean, she knows that. She knows she made a difference to people's lives.
And that's important. Stacy, what is a DSC?
A DSC is a Doctor of Science. I went right here to Boston University, and I did my doctoral work. I told you on AIDS patients, and I fed fish oil to them. So I know a lot about fish oil. I know a lot about how it interacts with HIV infection, and Boston University, for that, granted me my doctoral degree.
Dr. Bell, you hit the nail on the head with visual radio. We do go off topic. The subtitle is digression, but
That's okay.
before I digress, seriously, I like exploring how this book was created So the 5th edition now, when was the first?
Ooh, now you're getting
Good
to me.
question. I don't
would
mean to
say
throw trick questions
probably,
at anyone.
12 years ago. I mean, they probably come out every other year.
But this is a monstrous book. It's so huge.
I know. I can't even imagine what went through her head on day one when she took pen to paper and said, I'm going to do this behemoth book and I'm going to cover every aspect of nutrition that I can. But she certainly was a linear thinker, because when you open the thing, the first part is just getting you to square one. You see nutrients, and you see how much you need, sort of what the government recommendations are, and then bang, she gives you a table of what she thinks you need if you got nothing wrong with you. And a lot of people that are healthy should buy this book and wait till something happens, if you will. But in the beginning, if you just read the first part, you'll get to square one. You'll get an overview of what you need in terms of food and nutrients, and that's enough for a lot of people. Then she went on and covered about 200 conditions, and she alphabetized them. Sometimes there's a little moving around, but for the most part, under each condition, she told you what it was and told it like it was, didn't sweet talk anything. It was factual, beautifully written, and then she gives you some recommendations that she says you really ought to do these things, and then she gives you some recommendations of things you ought to consider. And I like that approach, because the things that she's adamant about are in a table form, and they've got all the nutrients listed, and they say you might want to do these. Some days you may want to try this. And then in the considerations, it may say one study found that tomatoes might help with people with prostate cancer. And then it sort of leaves it alone. And then it says, well, if your husband has prostate cancer, maybe I can give him more tomatoes, and maybe it'll help. It certainly won't hurt him. And that approach then is non-aggressive. It's certainly not threatening to the medical community, because she's not saying don't take your medicine, but she's offering alternative natural things. And boy, so many people want to do this stuff. A lot of people are doing it surreptitiously. A lot of people are doing it without any guidance. So if you needed one thing at home, just to give you some guidance, not only for you, but it helps your children. There's doses for children, and it helps people at all ages, whether they have sickness or no sickness.
America's #1 guide to natural health, 8 million copies sold. That's pretty impressive. And she has other books in the back.
She does. And I'm about to edit Herbal Healing.
Are you really?
Yes.
Okay,
and that, I've now just read that. That is just herbal medicine. And I'm telling you, there is a following, and we're a little behind in the States. The Germans and the Japanese have all the herbs organized, classified, doses, procedures for preparing the herbs before you take them. It's just stunning to me.
Do you go over there and study this?
It's all online now. You can actually buy a book, Compendium E, and have a look at of course it's in German, but have a look at what's been done. And it's so stunning to me that we're a little behind, because when I go in a store and I'm looking at the herbs and I'm thinking, well, how are they prepared? And is that St. John's wort herb prepared in the way and matched to the right way that it was in the study on depression? And that's a huge problem with herbs, because all herbs have active, we call them biologically active compounds in them. And you can make the herb that it has the right dose of the active compound. And you don't really care what else is there, because it's not going to hurt you. It's a plant. But you want to make sure your active dose matches what's in the clinical studies. So when they publish these clinical studies on echinacea, St. John's wort, and other herbs like that, they're all matched to a dose. You'll be able to see in the publication what the dose is and match it up with what's on the shelf. And if you can't match it up on the shelf, go to another store, because it's got to be done properly, or you're not going to get any benefit.
How exciting for you to be working on a second book of hers.
I know, I'm so excited. That should be great. I know what I was going to say. Michael Blumenthal, who runs American Botanical Society, has translated the German Compendium, Commission E, it's called, into English. And it's a must-read, and in fact, it was reviewed in the Journal of American Medical Association, saying this is it, end of the line. Germans know what they're doing, and it's a good book. I'm going to make ours just as good.
Oh, that's fascinating. And hopefully, if you're having fun here today, you'll come back with that book and talk to us.
Oh, I'd love that. That'd be great.
You have your own books out.
Yes.
In the medical field.
Right. Most of my work when I was at Harvard Medical School was writing books for healthcare professionals, doctors, nurses, dietitians like me, to tell people how to feed patients that were really struggling. And my expertise for a time was with patients that couldn't eat on their own volition. So I became expert in something called artificial feeding, and that involves either putting a feeding tube through somebody's nose or in their abdomen, or having an intravenous catheter placed in their neck where we could give highly purified nutrients to patients. I could figure out what people needed to have in those solutions, whether it was the intravenous solution or the feeding tube solution for those patients. Because basically, no matter what you think about medicine and how magical the drugs are, you have 100% dying if you're malnourished. If you get too skinny, all the data show you're going to die independent of anything else. You're just going to die from malnourishment. And one of the things that was so profound and discovered here in Boston by my former two bosses, Dr. George Blackburn and Dr. Bruce Bistrian, was that malnutrition can be corrected through nutrition. And they wrote a most famous paper called Skeleton in the Closet. And they went over to Boston University, Boston City Hospital, and they're walking around and they see all these people that are wasting away. And thousands of dollars of medicines going in them every day. They're not getting better. The two of them sat down, scratched their heads, and they say, there's got to be a better way. Someone has to own nutrition for these patients, and someone's got to feed them. So I was fortunate enough to be with those guys for 15 years, and we wrote our books together.
That's like Logic 101, though. That kind of is disheartening to me because it's so logical. And the doctor has got to see that, you need food.
It's almost stunning. It really is. And still today, 30 years later after they wrote the seminal paper, there's still places where word hasn't gotten out. I can say it is so much better and so many more people are educated. Oh yeah. I think, you can't cross it off the list in every hospital. Certainly any of these hospitals around here in New York City, quality care, you have lots of people that can have this expertise to feed these patients. But that was my passion for a while. I liked it because then no one said, I don't like this pork chop, Mom, or I don't like these mashed potatoes. I didn't have any grief from the patients, or like I get it with my families.
Right.
It was all artificially done, and we knew enough about nutrition back then that we could provide every single nutrient to get that person, not only keep them alive, but get them to convalesce, which is a huge thing.
And a third aspect to this, which is now only starting to merge with the medical field, is a positive outlook. There are Christian Science, and people believe that they can heal without medicine. There is power positive thinking, Norman Vincent Peale.
Right.
Science seems to be merging with spirituality.
It is huge. Yeah, I had the tour of the Christian Science Center. I'm telling you, they're offering a wonderful service. I think people need other people to talk to when they're sick, and they offer that. The other thing they did at Harvard Medical School, Herb Benson, who's since retired, started the Mind Body Institute. And he was like a lone champion, like my Dr. Blackburn and Bistrian. Everybody said, forget how the patient feels. We're here, we're doctors, we're going to give medicine and surgery. Yeah, exactly. And he said, no, it matters how the patient feels, and by having groups of patients talk together with a facilitator, you can lengthen life. And it turns out with AIDS patients, breast cancer patients, other people with like colon cancer, when they had their own little groups and they met with each other and had a facilitator, they lived longer, were less stressed. Absolutely. But part of medicine is all about documentation. If you can't scientifically show in a proper study, other doctors are going to blow you off because that's how they're trained. As you know, the FDA makes all these medicals, all these prescriptive drugs go through these trials. Doctors are used to that thinking. So Dr. Benson and my guys in nutrition had to step up to the plate and do properly designed studies to show without a shadow of a doubt nutrition will prolong your life, and being de-stressed and having a support group, mind-body connection is huge.
And just to digress a bit, we'll go back on track. The Christian Science Center, did you ever go into the Maparium, the map of the world?
Isn't that amazing?
Oh, it's one of the great wonders of the world.
It is so impressive. They had to throw me out. We were going to Malaysia that day, or the next
really?
day. So I'm there. I don't know where it was. I could barely spell it, let alone know where it was. And there it is. And I'm over here, and you're looking around. It's just it's the inside of the globe. So you're looking at it from a
plank.
Yeah, you're on this plank, and you're looking over, and there's Australia, and you're
into the world, and you have to whisper.
Yeah,
because it's very
echoing.
Oh, you can rub your fingers together and hear it across the room.
Exactly.
It's so acoustically perfect, and stained glass. I just am amazed when people ask me, well, what do I go see in Boston? I say, the Maparium.
Right, right. It's stunning. And you know what? We were the only English speakers on the tour. Because it's good for anybody from all over the world. And Boston has a lot of tourists because you don't need to say anything. You get it in a nanosecond.
But it doesn't say Iraq, it says Persia.
It was back when, I think the map was from Mary Baker Eddy time or something. Yeah,
like
yeah.
1898 or something,
Yeah,
around
yeah.
there. Yeah, so it's
it was very impressive.
artifact, yeah. And this book is an impressive, well, that's the thing. Mary Baker Eddy's book has sold like 18 million copies. People read, these are self-help books, but this is an amazing, almost like a dictionary or a...
Right. No one's going to torture themselves like I did and read the 800 pages straight and try to get it straightened out. What you want to do is you want to read bits of it. So you're looking for something. A friend of yours has breast cancer. Your mother fell and broke her hip. Your husband's having trouble with urinary tract problems. That's when you pull this thing out for a specific task, read that chapter, and then you have information to go talk to the physician if you're going to, or tell the person when she goes to the physician, what else can you do? But you can also get the person started on natural ways to help themselves out through not only diet, but also through taking supplements. And I think that's good. There's all kinds of other self-help things that I had never heard of, but people, massage, acupuncture, all that kind of stuff works on some people, doesn't work on everybody, but I like it that it's all here, concisely put together. And I read on Yahoo some of the criticisms of the book, and people said, oh, you can just go online and type in and get this. I can tell you, you can't find this sort of information condensed anywhere. It wants to be in a book. It doesn't want to be on the Kindle. It wants to be something that you can take and flip the corners over and have it become dog-eared. And hopefully there'll be a 6th edition before too long as well to keep updated.
Isn't that a problem today where people think they can just go to the internet and, find it? And a book is a good companion.
Yeah, and one of the things that I was very careful and laid down the law with my editor was our sources of information. I first went to the medical journals for the big scientific studies on the herbs, on diets and the like, and that's a government thing you can type in yourself. It's called PubMed, P-U-B-M-E-D, and that will give you all the scientific papers. And I looked up every disease and looked up every bit about diet and supplements. The second thing I did, I went to any website that was marked .org or .gov to get the facts, because when I started wandering around in .com things that just was a random person at home that had never studied nutrition or supplements, making up things, that's what gets people in trouble. That causes harm, makes your condition worse, and that I find very scary. You won't find that in here.
I like how they call it the premier Bible of natural health from A to Z. And there is a website which is the title, prescriptionfornutritionalhealing.net. So that is one website. Another website is StaceyBell.
StaceyJBell.com.
StaceyJBell.com. So STACEYJBell.com. And do people correspond with you?
I have not set it up for that, but I will after this. Right.
Oh,
yeah.
Now
you can see my bio and what I've done in there. Yeah.
The 5th edition comes out October
5th? It'll be on Amazon. Or October 4th on Amazon.com. Yeah.
October 4th is the 40th anniversary of Janis Joplin's passing. So on October 4th, people, on the 40th anniversary of Janis Joplin's passing, the 5th edition is released.
Right.
And I just remember these little...
I'll say, it's just a wealth of information here.
But today is September 13th, so have you done much TV for the book yet, since it's not out yet?
You're my first show.
Well, thank you. That was our hope.
Oh, I'm thrilled to be here. Local TV. This is great. Yeah.
This is the real underground, I think, like college radio used to be. I think public access is the real... We get the information out.
Right.
And you don't get 3 minutes like you might on Good Morning America, or a minute you get...
And we can explain things. I know, yeah.
Yes.
No, this is a much better format. Yeah.
And people get to meet you, because you have some radio in your family.
I do. the people that are watching this may have heard of the Andelmans. So
Eddie Andelman.
Eddie Andelman
The
is
great Eddie Andelman.
my daughter's father-in-law, and he's got his sports huddle on 96.9 on Sunday evenings.
Eddie Andelman's awesome. What can I say? I think he's great.
And then he's got 3 boys that have a radio show on 96.9 as well, and on Saturday afternoon, talking about restaurants and a lot of other things.
Well, you've got to get them to talk about nutritional restaurants.
They hate seeing me. They do, 2 of the 3 eat poorly, so they don't always like to hear what I have to say. But hopefully, well, their show's The Phantom Gourmet. Hopefully they'll get around. The Phantom looks for healthier restaurants in the future.
Can I ask which son is your son-in-law?
My son-in-law is Michael.
Okay.
Yes, he's not on as much as the other 2 that love being on, but he runs the radio show, so he's on. He does have a lot to say on that, so it's all good fun in the family.
Michael, have your mother-in-law on.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Why not? She was on my show, so there. I'm very impressed. I'm very, the book came in the mail. It comes to life when you talk to one of the people involved with it,
Thank you. Yeah, I think it always is like that. I mean, you could read the thing, you wouldn't want to, because you're not going to read breast cancer. It's not going to happen to you. So you end up, you want to know how to make it to come to life.
And to tell you the truth, the book was daunting. I looked at it, it's like, oh my God. The first thing I think is daunting.
Right.
And you really made it easy. That like, wow, I can just go through here and not.
Right. You're not going to have to worry about it. As I said, you're going to read the bits up front. You can look in the end just to see. We have supplement companies that are of high quality. That was the other thing we did. We updated all that. So if you're looking to buy a particular vitamin and you don't know about the companies, they're all listed in the back. And in fact, the FDA just made ruling on how vitamins should be made last July. So that's all in place, and we only now have high quality companies listed here. It makes all the difference when you're buying stuff.
I think this is such an important tool. I just have to say, because I didn't know that vitamins were so, and other things, you really have to watch what's in them and how you take them.
You have to appreciate it, and that's what I'm saying. If you're going to take charge of your health, you got to step up to the plate and do stuff. But you got to use high quality things.
My formula for viewers of visual radio is I take a little bit of the garlic tablets, chop them down, then a vitamin and some coffee, and.
That's a day for you?
Well, that's, when I think about it, I mean, I got the garlic tablets there and the vitamins there and all sorts of other vitamins, but I'm not religious about it.
Right, and most people describe to me exactly what you said. And if you look on the dates, I bet 2/3 of them are outdated. Because people just buy more, and they hear something on the news, and they'll add another one to their medicine.
They outdate themselves.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure mine are all outdated, but I'll keep taking them.
They won't kill you, but they're less potent. So you're not going to get the desired effect. But that's what makes me laugh. And that was the other reason that I got glommed onto this book, because there's rationale, and there's stuff you should take and stuff you don't need to take. It makes so much sense to me.
The website is prescriptionfornutritionalhealing.net for the book. StacyJBell.com. StacyJBell.com. We've only got a minute left. Can you believe it, on visual radio? It's so much fun talking to you here, and I'm just very impressed with like close to 900 pages to this.
It was a big labor of love. I hope you're healthier after getting through it, though. That's my goal here, sharing it with you.
Well, you want people to be happy, and if they have a problem, then they can fix the problem,
Right, and someone understands what they're going through. That's key.
And where will the tour take you?
I'm starting here. We're just getting started. I was on the radio in Minnesota last week. And I'm going to be in a magazine I'm not sure which it is, women's magazine, Self or something, for an interview about health in general. So
I think things
are just getting started.
I think this is something Oprah needs, and
that if you can arrange that too.
Oprah, if you're listening, this is a really good topic. Anyways, I'd like to thank Nancy and Joe for helping us out, and we have Robert here, I think, or no, Ben. See, I can see in the dark. Ben, Nancy, and Joe, thank you very much. Visual Radio, September 13th. Stacy J. Bell, good luck with the book.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.